In the earlier part 3, I have explained you how the data are to be collected, which you will be using it in order to know whether your action research has been effective or not. In part 4th, I will now like to tell you that how the collected data are to be analyzed. So, analysis of data. Now, once you have analyzed it and you have got the finding, the 5th step is share the finding. Now, once you have shared the finding, then the 6th and the last step will be review or reflect, because you may like to go through your finding once again, and since you have conducting the action research yourself, you may like to bring some change and like to do it again, which may be better than what you have done earlier. So, therefore, one has to review and one has to reflect. Now, in order to know the effectiveness of a change in practice, a teacher needs to look at it from different perspectives. This is important. First, look for patterns, trends and insights, because you have conducted the research, you have collected the data, and if you look at the data, you may find a particular trend, or while conducting the action research, you have got some idea which you may like to try it again. Another can be, where do you see the improvement? After conducting the action research, you may like to reflect back and see that which aspect was improved, or on which aspect you need to pay more attention, because that has not improved to the extent as you desired. Another can be that, does the data clearly provide supportive evidence? Whatever the data you have collected, whether with the help of this data will you be able to say clearly that your intervention has been effective. And another is, how does the new data compare with the baseline data? Whatever data you have collected and whatever the result you get, there might have been some other related to the same. You may like to compare them and see whether your data, whether your intervention has been better than the earlier or not. Another is type of data collected. In action research, you will be collecting the data, and data will be of the two types. One, the quantitative data, which will be in numbers. Another can be qualitative data, which will not be in numbers, but it will be in sentences, in words. So, when we have the quantitative data, this has to be analyzed differently than the qualitative data. This mostly the people conducting action research, they use quantitative data to plot the graph for the pre and the post means. As I have said earlier, that before starting the action research or before giving the intervention, you have to assess, you have to administer some test. Now, collect this data and find the means. Then you have to implement the intervention, and at the end of the intervention, then the same test is to be given again, and therefore, you will get some score there. From these two sets of scores, you may like to plot a graph, and after plotting the graph, you can see whether there is a change in the post in comparison to the pre. If there is a change in the post, then you may attribute to some extent that this change is due to the intervention or due to the treatment that you had specially designed and implemented. Another way can be that you have the means, that means you have the pre-means and you have the post-means. The scores collected before the treatment, if you take those scores and calculate the mean, that will be the pre-mean. And if you take the scores of the post tests which you have conducted, and if you calculate mean, that will be the post mean. You can compare these two means and you may try to find out whether the post means are equal to the pre mean or less than or more than. If post means are more than the pre means, then to some extent you can say that your intervention has been effective. Another can be that you can compute the coefficient of variation. That means from the pre-means you can calculate standard deviation and mean and can calculate the coefficient of variation. For the post also you can compute the coefficient of variation using the formula SD upon mean multiplied by 100, and then you can compare these variations. Now, the variations in the post test will tell you whether all the subjects, all the students of that particular group, whether they have understood that content to the same extent. That means whether the intervention that you have planned, that you have used during action research, whether that has been beneficial. There can be another way to analyze the quantitative data, and this is with the help of a statistical technique. It is called paired samples t-test, or it is also called correlated t-test. Now, this can be done because you have the quantitative data. If you are not well versed with this statistical technique, you can use the earlier 3-1 and get an idea that whatever intervention you had planned and used, to what extent it has helped. Then another can be that you have the qualitative data. This qualitative data should also be analyzed in order to get feedback whether the intervention planned and used during the process of action research has been beneficial or not. One is that one can do the content analysis of the data that has been obtained from observation schedule. You know that you have the observation schedule and you have observed the teachers, you have observed the students. Now, if you analyze that particular observation, then you can find out some points which will indicate that action research that you have conducted and the intervention that you have used has been effective. Another can be the audio and the video tapes that you have, and in the tool I told you that you will be recording some of the interactions going on in the class. So, analyzing the audio and video tapes will also give you some idea in respect of the effectiveness of the intervention. Another can be structured or semi-structured interviews if you have conducted. Please understand that the different tools which I have used, you may not use all of them, but try to use some of them, because sometimes the quantitative data alone may not be sufficient enough to tell whether the intervention was effective or not. So, in order to substantiate that, one has to have some other type of data, and that is the qualitative data, because qualitative data will give you lot of other information which you were not able to capture it from the quantitative data. So, your interview schedules which you have used, then you can analyze the content and try to get an idea. Your class records, that means your homework which the students have done, if you are analyzing those homeworks or you are analyzing the class works, or if the students have done some activity and if they have recorded it, then you can analyze them and can get an idea in respect of the effectiveness of the treatment. Your field notes, similarly your homework, similarly your photographs, all these can help you to say something about the treatment effectiveness. Now, another thing you can do is that whatever the qualitative data you have with you, you can analyze it using triangulation. This has to be done from the 3 point of view. Number 1 is observation of the interactions. During the action research, when the treatment was implemented, the teacher should try to observe whatever happens in the classroom and he should note down everything, because this interaction will give lot of information to the teacher, which teacher can use in order to improve upon this intervention. Another can be analysis of the children's work. As I have said earlier also, whatever the class work that the teacher gives or whatever the homework the teacher gives, that has to be analyzed very carefully and meticulously. If that is done properly, lot of new ideas teacher will get from the analysis of the children's work. And the last is the interview with the children. The researcher must try to talk to the children, should get a feedback about the effectiveness of the intervention, should get their own ideas how this intervention can be improved, how you can do better. So, this can be done under this particular thing. Next step is, once you have collected the data and once you have analyzed the data, then you get the findings. These findings have to be shared. So, therefore, the first is you should interpret the result. Whatever results you have got, as I have said earlier, that you calculate means, and when you are calculating means, you are calculating pre-means and post-means. That means the data collected before the intervention, you calculate the mean here, and the data collected after the intervention, you calculate the mean, and try to compare these two means, or plot a graph for the pre-data as well as post-data, and try to compare the graph, and now interpret, see whether your intervention has been effective or it has not been effective. Another is, one should summarize and describe the findings. Whatever are your findings, you should try to describe them so that the other people, so that the other teacher can understand the action research, and so that they can also undertake action research later on. Another is the share the results or the finding. Whatever are your findings, you should not keep these findings to yourself. Try to disseminate, try to share. The more you share, the better ideas you get. Some of the teachers may tell you that if you would have done this along with the present intervention, probably results would have been different. So, sharing of the results is very important. Now, the last step in the action research is review and the reflect. This is very important. Some of us we stop just after analyzing the data and getting the results. We do not go to this particular step, whereas this is very important because action research is not one time, it continues. So therefore, the last step is review or reflect, that one has to reflect on what you have learned from this action research, so the finding will be useful to you and others. During the process of action research, you might have learnt many things. Therefore, try to share it with the other people. Try to share your feelings. Try to share what were you thinking when this treatment was going on, so that others can learn, others can help you also to refine your treatment. Another can be, what will you do differently in your classroom or school as a result of this action research. Now, whatever action research you are conducting, basically it helps in improving the teaching learning process. Basically, it helps in the development of your own students, maybe cognitive development, maybe affective development, maybe psychomotor development, whatever it is. So therefore, you have to try to see that how the results of your own study can help you to do better whatever you have been doing. And the last one is, revise your intervention for additional improvement or questions raised by the data. Because when you were analyzing the data, you might have felt that this treatment could have been improved, or this treatment, if would have been like this, then probably the results would have been different. So that's what is to be done. Now, this comes to the end of the whole process of action research. In the next lecture, I will like to tell you that the action research that you have conducted, how should you write the report of it. Because if you have to share your own findings, if you have to share the whole process of action research that you have conducted, it has to be documented. Because without documentation, many people will not be getting the benefit of your research. So in the next one, I will like to explain under what headings the whole report is to be written.